An insider dropped a huge Warriors trade report, and it's something nobody saw coming. If you thought Jonathan Kuminga's days in Golden State were numbered, think again. According to a bombshell new report from Tim Kawakami at the San Francisco Standard, sources inside Golden State have revealed a shocking decision that's about to change everything. In today's video, I'll break it all down for you and the impact this is going to have on the Warriors offseason. So welcome to Warriors Digest. Let's get in here. I'm Arthur Ballesteros. Hit subscribe right now if you want to stay in the loop with all the Warriors news, drama, whether it's the offseason from hell, regular season, whatever it is. We got you covered with all the news and analysis that you need. So hit that button right now. It really helps the channel, and thank you. All right, so let's get to it here. So here's the deal. Despite all the noise, Tim Kawakami, Warriors insider from the San Francisco Standard, he's confirming the Warriors are no longer looking to trade Kuminga this offseason. All that trade talk, all the speculation, it's gone, done, finished. At least that's what we think here. Now, in his latest article that dropped today for the San Francisco Standard, he said that the Warriors are reportedly no longer exploring trade options this summer. Kuminga will remain with the team. Here's exactly what Kawakami learned. He said, "The word I got when I checked in with a Warriors source on Sunday, Kuminga won't be traded this summer. He'll be back on the Warriors roster to start the season, and it'll either come when he signs the Warriors offer or accepts the $7.9 million one-year qualifying offer." Now, the front office, led by Mike Dunleavy, of course, he isn't feeling any pressure to move quickly or to make a lopsided deal. In fact, apparently the vibe is the opposite internally. They're content with just waiting this thing out. There's no pressure to trade Kuminga, and it's actually to retain him for the upcoming year to maximize his value down the line. They're just not going to be rushed here. Now, that $7.9 million qualifying offer, that's no small decision for Kuminga. It's a last resort here. If Kuminga takes it, he becomes an unrestricted free agent next summer. That's a pretty risky move there, though. If, he gets another bad injury like that ankle sprain that he had, the tailbone bruise towards the end of the year, or, if he ends up in Kerr's doghouse, his long-term earnings are going to take a massive hit. That's why a lot of people around the league, they're calling it the nuclear option for him to take that qualifying offer. Now, the deadline to make that call is going to be on October 1st. So technically, we've got like 2 more months of limbo left. Yay! It's a fun waiting game. But right now, Kuminga and his agent, Aaron Turner, they're the only ones who really know if he's serious about going that route. I think that that's a bad move. And the Warriors, they're hoping that he isn't just posturing. They want to try to get a real plan of action here. And the Warriors definitely don't want him signing that qualifying offer because they won't be able to get as much trade value in return when they ultimately try to flip him before the deadline. It's going to be harder to trade a smaller salary like that for an impact player. So the Warriors want him closer to that $22 million a year offer so they can get more value. But JK and his agent, they're not into that. Now, according to ESPN, Kuminga's agent, Aaron Turner, who you can see here, he presented the Warriors a few frameworks during a couple of summer league meetings in Vegas, including a 3-year deal worth around $82 million that allowed the Warriors to stay below the second apron, to use the taxpayer mid-level exception, which is around $5.6 million in the upcoming year. The Warriors said, hell no. They rejected it. They countered with the 2-year $45 million offer. Kuminga and Turner, they said, nah, most likely because, the Warriors were insisting on having a team option for the second season. They didn't want to guarantee it. Also, they were unwilling to let him maintain the built-in no-trade clause that's in that contract, according to the sources that leaked all this to ESPN. Now, keep in mind, Aaron Turner was in this exact situation representing Victor Oladipo a few years ago, and he convinced Victor to bet on himself, reject the Pacers extension, and sign for the qualifying offer. And then he promptly got traded to Houston and fired Turner. So Turner kind of has a bad track record with this kind of stuff. But here's where things get more layered here. The Warriors' current offer includes a clause asking Kuminga to waive his no-trade clause during the first year of the deal. a right that is typically granted to players in their first year of that deal. That tells you everything about the Warriors' intentions. They want the option to move him later if needed, especially if the right high-end talent becomes available. You know, all of this is going to be about maximizing the roster around Steph, Jimmy, and Dre. Now, according to Sam Amick of The Atlantic, he wrote an article a couple of days ago. He was saying that the Sacramento Kings are the ones who are pushing the hardest to try to get a sign and trade done. They reportedly offered Kuminga a 3-year, $63 million deal in a potential sign and trade, with Malik Monk and a protected first-round pick going back to Golden State. This is what Amick had to say in that and kind of why the deal broke down. Protections have been the primary sticking point. The Warriors insist that first rounder be unprotected, thus the stalemate. Now, we all know Sac, they don't have any money. They're over the cap, so they can't just go and sign Kuminga outright to an offer sheet. They need to make a deal with the Warriors. And the Warriors, they haven't heard a sign and trade offer yet that they've even seriously considered. They're not interested in taking back bad contracts just to make it work. In fact, Tim Kawakami brought this up in his article today, where he was saying that the Warriors, according to his sources, they don't want to include Moses Moody or Buddy Hield in any outgoing balance, any package there to try to balance the salaries out to bring Malik Monk back. Now, Malik Monk, he's a baller. He played 31 minutes a game last year for Sac, 17 points, almost 4 boards, about 5.5 assists, shot about 43% from the field. Free throw percentage, not looking too great, around 33%. I have been listening to a lot of podcasts where he has really been working on that over the past couple of years to get that up. But look at him. He's 6'3". He's another small player, not something the Warriors necessarily need in return here. They need size again, they need defense, they need shooting, all of those things. Monk is a nice piece, but I don't love this contract here. He's on a 4-year, $77 million deal. He's got $18 million upcoming this year, $20 million next year. He's not an unrestricted free agent until the 2028-2029 season. Now, the Phoenix Suns, they're another team that's been mentioned, but sources say that the talks never got serious. The Warriors were never close to being tempted by what the Suns had to offer, probably because their offer was terrible. It was reportedly Royce O'Neal, Nick Richards, and 3 second-round picks. So all of this makes one thing very clear. The Warriors, they're not going to trade Kuminga unless they get exactly what they're looking for. And we all know that Joe Lacob, the Warriors owner, is reportedly still really high on him and would rather keep him around than move him for anything short of a significant return. We know the Warriors, they said they want a young impact player and a first-round pick. So to Lacob and the Warriors front office, if that means starting the season with Kuminga as a lame duck under that qualifying offer, so be it. It's not the best situation for the Warriors because they're not going to have enough money, on that deal to really flip him for something useful, but better than him walking, I guess. I don't know. They'll figure it out somewhere down the line. But now, some might wonder, is all of this hardball on both sides really worth it? Now, for the Warriors, absolutely. Holding this line allows them to protect a nearly $22 million salary slot. And that's crucial if they want to stay under the salary tax, the luxury tax, and still have flexibility to chase a big player down the road. Now, earlier today, this is where all of this Giannis stuff plays into it, because there was a report from Shams that the Bucks and Giannis have had more conversations about his future and whether or not he's going to stay there. So, excuse me, I think I'm dying, but hey, by the way, that's why I've been gone for a long time. Sick, dying, whatever, but hey, I'm back. Anyway, so this is really interesting because Giannis engaging with the Bucks again, trying to gauge whether or not they really have a championship roster here. Rumors are starting to swirl again that he may want out. We all know the Warriors and Giannis have been linked together forever. So maybe the Warriors trying to save some of their assets here. Either way, the Warriors are digging in and they have all the leverage here. So maybe it's not just posturing. Maybe they're ready to go into the season with JK under a 1-year deal, knowing that they can revisit this trade market at the deadline when the picture around the league is just a little bit more clear. So this is the long game, and they've been setting it up all along. But it's risky because if Kuminga takes that qualifying offer and walks next summer, obviously the Warriors get nothing in return. And that would be, the worst case scenario for the Warriors, who are still trying to squeeze out another title in Steph's window. So, let's be honest. If you're Kuminga, what would you do? Are you taking the partially guaranteed deal now? Are you rolling the dice, taking the qualifying offer, try to prove your worth at next summer? I want you to drop your thoughts in the comment right now. Put them down there in the comment section. If I were JK, the first thing I'm doing is firing Aaron Turner, but I want to hear your thoughts here. So here's the final twist. Even though the Warriors say they're done fielding trade calls, all of this could really just be a ploy to get the Kings to up their offer, because we've seen some reports here today from Brett Siegel of Clutch Points that even if the Kings offered Malik Monk and took the protections off that first-round pick, the Warriors still would reject it. The Warriors probably want something else in return from Zach, like Keegan Murray, who, all of us Warriors fans have been really high on and excited about the potential of maybe making a deal there. Or Keon Ellis, their young center there, although I don't think Zach's too excited about including him. But there were reports last week, I don't know if you saw this or not, but those two names have reportedly not been mentioned at all in Warriors-Kings trade talks, which seems pretty odd that the Warriors wouldn't have brought them up, because they're basically the two most valuable pieces on the Kings right now. But we know this whole summer has been about both sides, the Warriors and Kuminga's camp leaking info to the media to get an advantage here. So maybe that's the case with this new article from Kawakami. The Warriors just trying to get the Kings to up their offer by saying, no, we're not listening to trade talks anymore. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, because, honestly, I think that we're all sick of this situation. We want a resolution, but we don't want the Warriors to get roped into a bad deal here. So I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's the right move to hold firm and try to get something done, keep Kuminga on the roster, and move on to next year and hope you can get a better piece in the future there? I want to hear your thoughts. And if you've enjoyed this video, you should hit that like button, hit subscribe, because the story is far from over. Myself, Randy Silver, we're going to be keeping you updated all through the offseason here as all of this plays out. And hopefully we get some resolution. One of these days, I swear to you, one of these videos is going to be breaking news. Jonathan Kuminga signs, or Jonathan Kuminga trade, whatever it is. One of these days, it's going to be that. But for now, this is the update. Apparently, Jonathan Kuminga not being traded. You let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.